So this isn't something I would normally do, but I'm having one of those days where I just need an attitude adjustment. I have got to get my head on straight, and my heart needs to grow 3 sizes really fast. I am grumpy, I am grouchy, I am sensitive, and oh my goodness, if I have one more frustrating thing happen today, I may literally pull my hair right out of my head. Either that or just cry for the next 24 hours straight. I'm not sure which sounds like a better option at the moment, in all honesty.
Do you ever have days like this? Days where you're just cranky for no reason? Or where you're just sad and overly sensitive, so everything hurts your feelings and makes you want to cry? Days where you're overwhelmed by the smallest thing and just can't seem to get your head on straight? If so, stay tuned to find out one super easy way I adjusted my attitude, and you can too.
As I shared in my first video, which I'll link at the end of this one, I am in the middle of a recovery process for a period of depression which lasted for several years. I'm slowly learning how to manage my emotions again and finding balance between the old me and the me that I want to become. It's a daily struggle to break those old habits which fed my depression and to conquer the health issues which contributed to the start of that depression. Patience is a virtue, but it's not one of mine. This is a process that's going to take several years, and every day is a new opportunity for me to learn new ways of being and new ways of thinking and looking at the world. Now, I have been starting every morning by listing 3 things that I'm thankful for every day for years. I started this after reading the book 1000 Gifts by Ann Voskamp, and I have no idea if I'm saying your name correctly, so if I'm not, I apologize. In this book, Anne tells how she started her own gratitude journey by trying to list 1,000 things, 1,000 unique things that she was thankful for that God had given her. I was so struck by this that I immediately started writing 3 things in my journal during my daily Bible reading. And this worked great for a while. The problem is that after getting sucker punched by life several times in the last few years, I reached a point where I just was sinking farther into depression, and I was giving up on my ability to handle life. While I was still listing my 3 joys in the morning, by lunchtime I had forgotten all about them and was back to focusing on the negative for the rest of the day. The result? A few moments of gratitude in the morning and the rest of the day filled with depression, despair, and negativity. Now that I'm digging myself out of the pit, I've come to see that I've got to change my perspective all throughout the day and not just for those few minutes in the morning. Which brings me to the question of today.
Will focusing on 50 of God's nifty gifts bring about a change in my attitude? Will it actually take finding 50 before I see a change?
I'm challenging myself to film 50 nifty blessings that God is putting in front of me. Every day, there are so many little small things, like this beautiful sunshine, which I'm not sure how much of it I can capture on film for you while I'm driving, but it is a beautiful day, the first one in a very long time, and I am loving this sunshine. But if I don't start focusing on finding all of the beautiful things that God puts in the world in front of me, then I'm really going to have a breakdown today.
The very same day, I began looking carefully at everything around me, searching for interesting things to film and capture God's incredibly nifty gifts. I started on that very first day by focusing on the sunshine. We were experiencing some beautiful sunny days that are extremely unusual for this time of year in Michigan, and I was wasting them by being a grump. So I noticed the sunlight reflecting on the surface of the water, the breeze blowing gently through the trees, the vibrancy of the colors, and the warmth of the sunlight on my face. I can't say exactly when my outlook changed, but I can tell you that it didn't take finding all 50 nifty gifts before my attitude had been completely adjusted, and I was enjoying the challenge of trying to capture God's incredible blessings on video.
I found myself wandering around with my phone at the ready and a smile on my face. Did you know that smiling causes your brain to release neuropeptides that help to fight off stress? These are followed by other neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. Dopamine is the body's reward system, endorphins act as a mild pain reliever, and serotonin is the body's natural antidepressant. There is some evidence in one study that suggests that smiling can help us to recover faster from stress, reduce our heart rate, lowering our blood pressure. I'll link my research in the video description below. Basically, smiling is God's natural remedy for stress, anxiety, and depression. How exquisitely simple the system that He created, and yet so incredibly difficult to put into practice when you just don't feel like smiling. Even though my attitude had already been adjusted, I decided to go ahead and continue the challenge anyway.
And after a few days, I found that searching for the hidden nuggets of gold scattered all throughout my day was slowly changing how I approached my life and my attitude on a moment-by-moment basis.
Here I go, playing mom taxi again. Whew, off we go.
Rather than grumbling about being the mom taxi for my children, I was scouting for filming opportunities and seeking out new ways of seeing the same old things. Rather than complaining because the next day was cloudy and cold and windy, I was celebrating the effect of the clouds rapidly moving across the sky and the beauty of the brown plants waving in the wind. When migraines would strike and I would be laid up on the couch instead of being able to go for a walk in the woods the way I wanted, I would face the disappointment squarely and look for other opportunities for finding joy, like toasting my toes in front of the fireplace. When attending events at my church, I looked for opportunities to be blessed by the incredible people around me. Working frantically in the kitchen before Our Lady's Fondue Fellowship event became a fun and entertaining opportunity to laugh together.
There's obviously a connection here, and I believe it's the reason why God filled Scripture with verses like, "Rejoice in the Lord always. In everything give thanks. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." God created us, and He knows that we need to smile just to put our natural bodily systems to work in helping us to fight off stress and handle the negative emotions that bombard us every day. How amazing He is to have created such an incredibly simple system and given us such a simple, tiny key to make it all work.
Someday soon, my beauties, it will be spring and I will be opening you up and filling you full of lovely little seedlings. Can't wait.
So what's the takeaway from this experiment? I ended up finding way more than 50 gifts. I guess what I'm trying to say is that our Creator has surrounded us with so many incredible blessings and so much beauty that we have no excuse not to smile. It's really easy for us to get dragged down by life, dragged down into depression, focusing on the negative and the pain and the hurt. We put our heads down and we just keep struggling to put one foot in front of the other. And we forget that all we really need to do is just look up and see the incredible gifts He's placed right in front of us. So my challenge for you and for myself is to lift up our heads, open our eyes, and focus on finding the first 50 nifty gifts that God places in front of us. You may want to capture them on video like I did, or you can just snap some photos. You can write it down in a notebook quickly, or at one point I was even keeping a list on my phone just so I could have it with me everywhere I went. See how many nifty gifts you can find before God completely changes your attitude and gives you a new outlook on your day. Let me know in the comments how many gifts it takes before you get a smile on your face. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more, you can watch one of these videos. Watch one of these videos to see how I started my journey in the recovery process and some adventures I've had along the way. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you next time. I've got to change my attitude all throughout the day and not just in those early hours of the blah, blah, blah. Did you know that smiling causes your brain to release neuropeptides? Did you know that smiling causes your brain to release neuropeptides? Smiling causes your brain to release neuropeptides. These are followed by others. These are followed by other neurotransmitters. These are followed by other neurotransmitters. Smiling can help us reduce